Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening? Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We got Trader behind me here. If you guys haven't seen the video that just came out before this one, a little bit of an update. In that video, added a couple things, nothing too major, a little preventative maintenance I'll call it, but I don't know. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and you get the latest and greatest on that rig. We're just kind of getting ready, rounding things up for our next trip. And we're headed down to Black Mountain. So one kind of hiccup in the plan here is I don't see. Nope, still not here.
Yeah. So Tippy's MIA. So as you guys saw, insert clip here. I rolled it.
Oh, there it goes! Oh! You good?
At our group ride
Yeah.
on that Saturday. So when I rolled it, ripped the shock off, and then it bent the cage, which is big sad.
Yeah,
But
big sad.
I know all the internet haters are going to be all about, you know, should have went here, or whatever. I mean, that was a 120 wall DOM cage. It was, you know, it was a strong cage, and it did its job. I'm still here. Didn't hurt, and it was a perfect hit onto a perfectly, you know, rounded rock, like a tube bender basically. So it just came down wrong, so it bent it. But I dropped it off. I think it was the next weekend.
Yeah, it was that because it was the weekend I went to Michigan.
Yeah.
So when I went to Michigan, which you guys seen in this, Billy went south to drop off Tippy.
Yeah, so I
surgery.
Yeah, I dropped it off. So after that whole thing happened, I called Justin Fraser from Razor Sharp, and he's gonna get it all taken care of for me. Great guy to deal with. I can't really thank him enough for getting it in so soon, because usually you gotta, you know, usually it's months out. But he got me in, so my rig's still there. It should be done next weekend, and we're leaving that next week. So I'll have it, and then like 3 days, and then we'll be leaving again to go back to Kentucky.
So I see some Roxxzillas peeking in the corner over there with no rims.
Yeah, so.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah, so since I'm getting a new cage, or the cage fixed, it's gonna obviously have to be powder coated. So figure what better time, get the wheels kind of spruced up.
Yeah, so his wheels were getting a little beat up just from rock crawling and wheeling and stuff. And he just wants to be cool with the Albas, how they're just flossing.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing.
Cool wheels just really like make a machine.
Yeah, they really do. And I liked mine, you know, they were decent, but I mean, anybody can buy them. So I figured, you know, it's a little.
It seemed like just the best time. Like if you're thinking about doing it, like when are you gonna have like the whole rig down? Like you wouldn't want to break down your rims and tires, you know, get them powder coated. So it's like you're already having stuff powdered.
And it'll be the same powder that just getting on the cage, you know, that the rig is. So like I trust the guy that it's gonna be, you know, the same colors and match everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's doing that. Getting the shock fixed, obviously that's probably the biggest bummer. So he's gonna do the shock. He's gonna reinforce the other side as well, and brace the chassis, like the frame, kind of gusset the frame in the front. And then that should be done. So hopefully I get it back next weekend.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's pretty like fast timing from that happening to our next trip. And I didn't even think about it when we planned the trip. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds fine. And I'm like, oh. But yeah, so it's gone.
So what do you got in store for, so once you get it back, got to change that axle, which it broke, or bent, sorry.
Yeah, I did get that. So I don't know if I said anything about that.
So they don't know like that Super ATV warrantied it or anything.
Okay, so I called Super ATV, I think, whatever week that was after we were done. And within 3 days I had a new axle shipped to my door. So it was $100. So that was like, I think after 6 months, you have to put like $100, I don't know, like.
Yeah, just $100 replacement fee.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even broke yet, so that's cool. I've personally seen stories where like warranties and axle companies, like if it's not broke, they won't replace it. Like if it's clicking or bent, like they won't replace it unless it's broke. So it's cool that they replaced it, even just being bent.
Yeah, I mean, all I had to do was send them a couple pics, and I had Justin help me with a little video showing, you know, how it was bent. And yeah, they sent me a new one, so I got that sitting at home. So we got to do that once we get it back. Obviously mount my tires. And then Tyler Downs from Southern Powersports, he's just too good to me. Sent me some more lights that I broke because I broke the tail light, so.
Tippy really just living up to her name here.
Yeah.
I can't say much because I rolled mine twice, but was lucky enough not to.
Yeah, mine was all straight stupidity, so I know you guys can hate on me. I know in the video, so nobody knows, I did hit the brakes, and I was trying to get it in reverse, but you know, when you're in that moment, it was one of those climbs that I've done before, so I honestly didn't think in a million years that it would have backflipped on it, so I wasn't even thinking about hitting reverse ever. Like it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
It caught me off guard, and obviously I rolled, which, you know, everybody probably should be ready for that, but turns out I wasn't. So it is what it is. It's getting fixed.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, it'll be, you know, good as new, all fresh, powdered again. But
hurts a little bit, but you know.
Yeah, it hurts a little inside, but
anyways, on to some positives here. So after we get it back, headed to Black Mountain. Actually, by the time these videos come out, we're probably there, hopefully wheeling, hopefully with Tippy.
Yeah.
But after that, so we've been talking. So I'll enter this clip in right after I'm finished talking here, but Billy's been talking about doing gear reduction since we do a lot of like rock crawling and stuff like that. So that's kind of on the horizon. Plan on making like a good video, like tearing down the trans and stuff.
Yeah. And
show it to the best of our knowledge. We've never done it, but pretty confident we can figure it out. We got press and everything we need, so gonna do that. But we wanted to, he's been on the fence on like what percent reduction to do. So I'll throw the clip in here, and this was me testing the Can-am to see how fast it goes in low. So you guys will see that there, and we'll get back to you after that. Any guesses? I think it's a speed limiter, because that was mad at like it.
20?
20? No, it was way faster than that.
Was it?
Yeah, 36.
Wow.
But that seemed like a computer limiter, not.
Yeah, I know mine's limited to 35, so.
Yeah, that was 36. Wide open. No tune, but.
It's impressive.
Yeah. She was screaming. Alright, let's get back inside. It's cold. Alright, so we're back. So as you guys seen, 36 miles an hour, no tune. However, I don't really know that the tune would have made much of a difference. So what were your thoughts?
So, well, mine is tuned, and it does make a difference. So right now, I know the stock tune, it's 35 miles an hour that my low is limited to. But right now, with the tune, I was at the Badlands and we were doing something, I don't know. But I had to run back to the truck to get the drone. And I was, for whatever reason, I just grabbed because it's a gear grabber, I just grab it, yank it, and it just goes straight in the low. So since I did that, and I didn't know I was in low instead of high, it does over 60 miles an hour in low before it hits the rev limiter. So it's a little excessive. So I've been back and forth on gear reduction and what percentages, and it's all like a mystery on what gears do what or whatever. But the two main gear reductions that I was researching the most probably would be, there's one that you can do 24 or 25% lower and high and reverse, and then that nets you like 47 or 48% and low. So a lot of people that are running 35s do that one, and mostly 4-seaters is what I see. So if we did, you know, around 50% lower and low, you'd probably, you know, you'd be on limiter at like 30 and low.
Yeah.
But then your top speed would probably be, you know, 25%, it probably does 90-ish. So it's probably around 75 miles an hour and high. So that's one option. That's probably not the option I'm gonna go though. So then there's another option. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the 4-seaters are geared 12% lower in every gear. So I know a lot of people might not know that, but the 4-seater Transes are 12% high, low, and reverse lower than the 2-seater. So what I'm gonna do for gear reduction in my machine will be 12% lower in high and reverse, and then low will be 33%, which I think is the Ranger low gear. I mean, we'll explain this more once I get the gears and
yes,
what else
so
we're doing.
It's just kind of something you guys can look forward to, and if you're interested in doing it, we'll definitely cover it more in depth.
Yeah,
when it comes
right.
down to it,
but from what I gathered, so like if you're, you know, if you're on the fence about it too, like I've been doing a ton of research. That should net me about 40 mile an hour in low, roughly. And then my high should be still 80s, I would assume. You know,
yeah,
around
which is
80.
plenty for,
Yeah,
for the riding we do.
Yeah, we don't ever really go fast, so I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's something to come on the channel. And then there's one other thing in the transmission. There's like it's called like a snorkel gear plate or something. I guess that if you ride hard will, I don't know, deflect on the gears, and it'll bend this plate, and that's what cracks your case. So it's like 40 bucks. So that's also going to be in our gear reduction video on just like another little upgrade while you're in there. So that's probably about it for plans for Tippy after this next trip.
So I just wanted to add, I don't think this has been said on camera, but it probably, I don't know, it might be playing into your gear reduction thoughts a little bit, but I know your belt was already showing some signs of foul play, like with like the jittery engagement,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So what belt did you end up throwing in it?
Yeah. Do they know that we even did a belt?
No, that's why I just figured we'd throw it in with this update. So,
yeah. So
we did it right before the Badlands meetup ride, just because it didn't want to have an issue on that ride.
Yeah. So yeah, I did. So I guess once the belt starts to wear, you'll get like a, I don't know, like
just like a jerky engagement.
A jerky engagement, yeah. And that's exactly what mine was doing. So I'm like, well, if people were starting to get this and then their belt blew, I'm like, oh, I better change it. So I did change it, and it only has 300 miles or so on it. So really not that much. I mean, quite a bit. I mean, you guys see 90% of our ridings under 20.
Right.
So we're pretty slow riders. But I did change it. I went with Trinity World's Best belt or whatever. They're all the same, but the Trinity version. So I bought that, and that seemed to be good. It got rid of that jerkiness off the line, but obviously it's still geared way too high, especially compared to this. I mean, this thing's a straight up rock crawler, and the Polaris isn't even close, which is very amazing that it still does almost 40, because I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
I thought it wouldn't have.
Yeah, you guys would be shocked how many times I get asked, like, were you even high for that hill? Because like it's so low geared when I'm just crawling around and stuff. And everybody asks me if I'm in high, but I mean, it still does pretty good in low. So it's definitely like the best of both worlds in my opinion. Can you trail ride around the park in low? No, you put it in high. But that's what's sick, is high is actually still low enough. I know this is high, low,
Yeah.
but it's still low enough to where it's fully engaged. Like I'm on my original belt still, and it's shown no signs of foul play. And I've got 600 and some miles on mine now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Just food for thought. It's obviously he doesn't need to do the gear reduction. Like he goes everywhere. It's just if you gear it right, the machine will be happier.
Yeah,
you know?
well, you'll see it too in the videos. I mean, sometimes it'll get bound up and it'll just eat. It'll just rip, and then next thing you know, it's like you're not in the same line that you wanted to be in before. It just kind of just wheelies over the rock, and then you're completely out of play. You know, it's not right for how we ride, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I think that pretty much wraps up the update on Tippy, right? If you got anything else to chime in on that?
No, just pray with us that it's back.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the Black Mountain videos.
Right. So probably the only thing before our Black Mountain videos that might be coming up is I've been seeing a lot of these toe link supports getting wallowed out. I think that's what they're calling it, toe link. I don't know. It's a center radius rod and just gets a bunch of slop, wallows out, and ends up breaking that bolt, I guess, or ruining the hub. One of all those options. But I haven't had any issues yet, but I'd really hate to break that bolt and have issues out on the trail or out on a big ride when we're 8-9 hours away from home and have something stupid like that take me out. So Shock Therapy makes a cool kit that I'm gonna order up, and hopefully that gets here before Black Mountain and I can get that thrown on. And I want to cover that and talk about that in a video, just because that is kind of a, I don't know, like a hot button thing that I've been seeing come up lately.
Common issue.
Yeah, common issue. But that pretty much wraps it up, guys. We're gonna toss the camera over to Josh now. He's doing some trip prep, I believe. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm gonna watch it with you guys. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.
What's up, guys? YXZ update. Not much. Brake pads. Got a new tablet. Just give you a little rundown, show you how much life, if any, is left on the brake pads. I also ripped off this little rubber stop thing. Probably need to figure out some other new way to mount my cable. Here's my tablet mount. Gotta figure something out. Just gonna mount it on that grab handle and toss these bad boys on. So here's the passenger front. Not as bad as expected. Not good though. The horns. Driver's side front. Again, not too bad, but we all know how horrendous these brakes squeak. Hopefully this takes care of some of that. Probably not. So I'm at the driver's side rear. Turns out, tough brake. Might have just got lucky and caught it. I mean, just got lucky. One of the clips was bent in too. I don't know how that happened, but it was like bent in, so it's kind of wearing the rotor funny. Oh well, still gonna huck it. Turns out, last brake, worst brake. Also, tough brake. Looks like there was for sure a rock in there. Meh. It'll be fine. So brakes are done. YXZ's back together. The winch is just rerouted to hook on the tube. Is what it is. Not spending any more money on a little rubber mount that I'm just gonna bash into the ground. So onto the tablet. I would say putting it there is a good idea for visibility purposes, but I'm not gonna put it there. Usually when it rains, all the water comes to the center of the cage, drips on, the dash, my leg, whatever. It gets nice and wet. Tablet's not waterproof, neither is the case. Could put it in a Ziploc. But I'm thinking I'm gonna mount it over here on the grab handle. Ram's got a mount that accepts a ball, and it's got a U-bolt go right on there. Should be good. Normally when we're riding, especially because I'm 64 wide, I don't really get a lot of water or mud inside the cab, but if the tablet's down, over here, it'll be protected more from rain and weather and mud and roost and pretty much just everything. Plus it's in reach if I'm harnessed in, just to help me navigate better. Looking forward to being able to use lifetime trail maps and stuff. That'll be really cool for once. All right, guys. Well, hopefully next trip to Black Mountain. This sucker's in there, ready to rock and roll. Don't forget to subscribe. I mean, come on. Why aren't you subscribed yet? Also, do you have a t-shirt? Like, come on. You like to see me break parts all the time, right? Huck this thing. It's so exciting, right? It's also expensive. I mean, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. See you on the next one.